the notes where the lawyer says he made a plucking noise. I mean, this is to the core of solicitor-client privilege documents, unless I'm mistaken, Robert.
No, this is all clear. This undisputed attorney-client privilege communications. Their entire intent case goes from breaching attorney-client privilege. And the problem, and the only reason why the court allowed it to go forward was because they brought that part of the case in D.C. And I'll get into in a second, there's problems now because they've admitted the whole case belonged in Florida all along. Why did they go to D.C.? Because a D.C. chief judge presiding over the grand jury hates Donald Trump and ruled that they could breach attorney-client privilege to the extent that what they exposed was crime. But they didn't expose that because, again, once you understand, this is where Article 2 defense bridges into the attorney-client defense, which is that if none of this was criminal, then they couldn't breach attorney-client privilege in the first place. So that's how, and so even if they say, well, we'll only set aside some of the charges on Article 2 grounds, not the obstruction-related charges, because the attorney-client privilege breach was key to all the charges in the case, and because the basis of it was ignoring Article 2, ignoring the Presidential Records Act application, that means that if that judge decision was wrong, then that means that attorney-client privilege could have never been breached, and that means the entire case has to be thrown out because attorney-client privilege is also enforced through the 4th, 5th, and 6th Amendments, though uniquely here has Article 2 ramifications. So on a little side note, one, all these lawyers were pussies. These lawyers should be our disgrace. I said some of these lawyers were a disgrace. They were completely a disgrace. Any lawyer worth his salt, first of all, don't go around taking notes against your client. They have no business doing that whatsoever. I mean, are you that dumb? Are you that lazy? Are you that incompetent?
Well,
Evan Corcoran and these losers? These are the people that they should be seeking to disbar, not Jeffrey Clark.
But
and then you're such a wuss. You're so weak. You're so pitiful. You're so sorry. You go, oh, okay, Judge, I'll just come in and rat out my client. Sit in jail. Make him take it to the U.S. Supreme Court. Make him put you in prison. Expose these corrupt frauds of partisan judges for what they are. They're trying to destroy the Constitution of America. Stand up for something.
I actually feel bad for having tried to interrupt you there, Robert. Do we even know that the notes were contemporaneous, that they're authentic, that they were taken at the time? Or
we don't know any of that. And they shouldn't have been taking notes. They shouldn't have testified. They should have said, screw you. One, you got to give me immunity. Two, okay, give me immunity. Fine. I'm still not going to testify. Put me in jail. Put me in jail. See, put the president's lawyer in prison because you want to breach attorney-client privilege. Put that on the front page of the news for the next 6 months. Take that up to the United States Supreme Court. And even then, you can keep me in prison. See how that's going to work for you long term. Most of the time, they don't have the guts to do it, by the way, because they know how it'll politically backfire on them. But these all lawyers folded quicker than a cheap tent. They lifted up their legs faster than the cheapest whore in a whorehouse. That's how terrible these lawyers were. They're a disgrace. They're a disgrace. And, I've been telling people like Steve Bannon and the rest of them, quit hiring all these white-collar wusses. These are people that do not know how to handle political cases, don't have guts or balls to defend anybody in a political case. You got the Constitution on the line. Have some guts. I mean, that's why I respect the Jerry Spences of the world. That's why I respect the old school guys that would be held in contempt themselves by a federal court, like the lawyer defending the Chicago 7, risking 15 years in federal prison because he stood up for something. When he took his oath, he meant it. These lawyers, sadly, pitifully did not. But that's just, and part of that's on Trump. Quit looking for white shoe fancy lawyers. Quit looking for too cheap lawyers. Don't look for lawyers so far outside the system they don't know what inside the system looks like. Plenty of quality, skilled lawyers, and continue to use their advice rather than a lot of this other with good lawyers. Trump's never here, even with the deep state being as corrupt as they are.